Hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
Good morning. You are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio. Did I say AM 1050 FM 106.5 and streaming everywhere? iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Rumble, Tiki Live, JioSaavn, Podchaser, and more. And why so many places? Because I am on a happy 88 mission, 88 million more happy people in the next 8 years. So I have topics and guests and series to that and addressing everything from the holiday blues, obviously lately, to cleansing your body and mind with Layla Ali, Muhammad Ali's daughter, to Corey Feldman, Marianne from Gilligan's Island, and a whole host that you can get on my YouTube channel. You can watch and listen there, but then on the other platforms, that's what I do. And Thursday is my special series called Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works.
And what do we talk? Why do we say straight talk? Because we tell it like it is. Often it is our experiences as straight single people, or as in Sam's case, you don't know if he's going to be single 1 week to the next. Just kidding. But he definitely is in the pool swimming a little more than I am. But we just have a fun time every Thursday talking pretty much about everything that we shouldn't be talking about at 8 in the morning in California or 11 in the morning in Toronto, where I am broadcasting live. But please welcome back to the show my Thursday co-host, Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works.
So Sam used to work, I found out, at a restaurant, and basically was hired off that floor by my station manager, Mark Westwood. He became my sound engineer. And then I co-opted him into doing Gratitude Sandwich with me. And next thing you know, he's my co-host on Thursdays. And it is a very popular series. So I'm so happy to have you, Sam. How was your holidays?
Couldn't be any better, to be honest.
Okay, then let's go specific with the Gratitude Sandwich. We're going to do 8 specific gratitudes, 8 specific things we appreciate about ourselves, because we like to start our mornings with breakfast of taking a bite of our gratitude sandwich. So why was it so fabulous, Sam? You were grateful for?
Well, although my whole family couldn't be together like in person, I'm very grateful for technology, because we're able to FaceTime across the country, and still be together as one.
Where was the family?
Texas.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. I'm just all right. And I'm grateful that I got to be with a lot of family that I don't normally get to be with, except when I fly back to Canada, because I was born in Canada. Oh, Canada. That's all I remember. And I had a great, I'm going to do 2, dumpling making party last night, which is in honor of my cousin who passed, George, my favorite cousin, unexpectedly years ago. But we make dumplings because that was his favorite.
Okay, I like that. Another thing I'm grateful for is being able to connect with people. Like, so one thing that was really exciting on Christmas Day, I went to the Loma Linda Children's Hospital and got to hand out presents to all the cancer kids.
Oh, how cool is that?
So it was nice to see them smile as much as they did. They didn't smile too much because, they're in the hospital during Christmas.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
at least they
cool. that you were being a beneficial presence on the planet. That's awesome, Sam.
Mhm.
I love that. Did you dress up as Santa?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
okay.
I have to have like certain dress code during that.
Oh, yeah. Same with when I'm at my mom's place. So I'm grateful that I got to see my mom, get to continue to see my mom here in Canada, where she is at a retirement home. And I'm also grateful that I am slowly healing with my back.
Yeah, how you're back, by the way.
And my back's up against the wall. I was just saying that, I say I'm ageless. My body hasn't quite, you know, caught up with that moniker yet, but it's okay. This too shall pass.
Yes, I should.
Yeah.
Okay,
One
and
more
then
gratitude.
one more thing that I'm grateful for is my friends and family, only because, well, not only, but during the Christmas time, I got a lot of presents this year. I was like, dang,
Oh,
all right, cool. And it's things that I asked for, like shoe cleaner, bedspread, stuff like that.
okay.
Very, very simple. I'm a simple guy,
I was gonna say, I was picturing, the car with the bow on top and the
No,
computer
no,
with the bow on top. So, yeah.
that'll
Okay.
be that'll be for me one day to
Yeah.
surprise my.
Yeah, that's great. Um, that down to the bottom of the button, appreciation. I was like, where am I? 8 specific things that we appreciate about ourselves. If you're new to the show, you know that I do this because I want you to practice loving yourself. I want you to know what's good about yourself instead of going around with your antenna looking for who loves me, who likes me, literally. Instead, I want you to know what you're great at, what you're not so good at, but most of all, that you're one of a kind, wonderful. So, what do you like about yourself, Sam?
I like that I'm a go-getter.
All right. I like that I um, love to have fun. and,
Mm.
and there's so many ways that I can have fun, but I love having fun. Wink,
Uh,
wink, nod, nod.
I like the fact that not all the time, but most of the time, I get excited when things start to, take a twist, take a turn. A lot of people, they get nervous or scared when like life starts to, hit rock bottom, or like, get a little crazy for them. But for me, I get a little excited because, I mean, so far everything's turned out okay,
Yeah,
so that too shall pass type stuff. So I
correct.
get that.
Correct. I appreciate that. I love being a fashionista.
Mm. I appreciate about myself that I'm very aware of my body, and I try to take care of myself as the best I
I
can.
good. I appreciate that I don't beat myself up as much as I used to.
Mm.
I can let stuff go. I have a bear that I hug named Okie Dokie. And when I screw up, I hug him and I say, Okie Dokie, knowing that
Aw.
88% of the time I do well, 12% of the time I step in it. So,
And then last one, I appreciate about myself, um, of who I am overall. You know, uh,
mm,
I really see that I'm a nice guy, and I try to keep up with that, because sometimes, emotions and anger really get the best of people. So.
yeah, yeah, fabulous. I'm going to sneak in one because it just came up the other day, especially when I get to work with people on coaching. I know that the feelings that I'm having, especially when I'm not feeling good, they're just feelings,
Mm.
and it will pass. And I'm not always going to feel like that. And I say this because I think we've swung on the pendulum from not feeling anything at all to over feeling, and then everything's based on how you're feeling. When you're feeling bad, you think you get stuck there. If your life is just based on I don't want to feel bad. And when you're feeling bad, everything's about feeling bad. So that's why I encourage people when they say, how are you doing? To say, I'm blessed, or I'm grateful, or I'm happy. Because even though you're not feeling like that then, you will feel like that soon. But if you keep saying, I feel horrible, I feel bad, and then people are like, oh, what's wrong? And then you just go further in that rabbit hole of feeling bad. So there's your happiness coaching for the day. All right, so that is it. Thank you for joining us for the Breakfast in the Morning with Dr. Marissa and Sam Works, and having a gratitude sandwich. So I challenge you to do this for 30 days. You can do it on the air with me. You can do it on your own, but make sure you go to bed tonight talking about what's good about you. Now, switching gears, a sharp 180 degrees. We're talking about you ain't nothing but a gold digger. I wanted to play the song, but we dinged on copyright issues, so I didn't. But the title is You Say Gold Digger Like It's a Bad Thing. So that's usually, I got that from an expression. You say biatch or beach like it's a bad thing. And it's a play, obviously, on words, saying what's wrong with being a gold digger. So you notice I chose my gold digger attracting dress this morning, and we've sort of slid into this topic because we've been talking about older women, younger men, why younger men would be attracted to older women, and it has come up that there is an attraction to the wealth that an older woman, or experience, and or both, that an older woman had. And actually, I picked this topic. Actually, I didn't pick this topic. I was playing game night with my wonderful great niece, great nephew, their girlfriends, boyfriends, and all of that, and husbands. So I asked them, what do you think I should talk about? And that's what they came up with. So you can blame them. Ashley, David, who else? Zach, my great nephew, and Lai, his girlfriend. So this is credit to them. And apparently, at least in Canada, gold digging is making a comeback. It's hitting the news. It's oh gosh, there's a funny thing that she read on a profile. I won't say who it is, but let's see. Here it is. She saw a person. Oh no, gosh. In his profile, he said, I make six figures, I'm 6 foot tall, and I'm 6 inches. Or something like, oh, really?
Okay.
That was his lead on his profile. I think I got that wrong, but I thought I wrote it down. But anyways, something along those lines. So I thought we would talk about that today. So
That's pretty good. I'll put that in my bio if it was true.
Well, you would put that in a bio?
I don't make 6 figures.
But everything else is true? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm 6'1.5", so.
Oh, okay. So you can say you're over and above that.
There you go. I'm not talking about height. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Are you? Is your middle name Nay? Oh my goodness! I hope nobody got that except you. My daughter, I'm sure, is downstairs going, "Oh, please, Mom, no." Anyways, this is, yes, I love to laugh. It's my favorite sound in the world, and I will get to it no matter what I say. But I love this series because I sort of have permission to talk about this. I see eyeballs rolling in. Thank you for joining Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
Sam Works.
And we're talking about Gold Diggers this morning on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere, especially my YouTube channel, which I hope you're at. Free subscribe, and then you get to chat. So I want to know your 8 cents worth on gold digging and gold diggers. So if I were to criticize gold digging, it's along the, is it ethical even to go after someone just for their money? Is that ethical? Is that moral? It certainly is a side, slam. Oh, she's not the but a gold digger. That one, or a younger guy. He's nothing but a gold digger, as if there's something wrong with it. But I will have to say that when you say I want someone who's financially stable or financially successful, ambitious, hardworking, overachieving, doesn't that come with that description? Couldn't you say that anybody who's looking for anybody who has financial wealth, a gold digger?
I mean, that's missing pieces of the puzzle.
Okay.
Because
Explain.
some people are like, oh, I want someone who's sweet, good looking, loyal, respectful, da da da. And then, the money does get brought up because no one wants to be with someone who's poor because then they're both struggling in life because money does matter. However, if that was their only thing they're looking for, like, hey, I just want someone who has money who can take care of me, then yeah, that's the gold digging part, because I've met um I've met some like moms and females who are gold diggers, and there's this one time it was kind of funny. She was like, "Yeah, I'm with this guy. Da da da. He has like 6 cars, this and this, but he's not 6 foot or 6 inches or anything like that. And he's a total, rooster.
Douchebag.
Yeah, and she's only in it for the money. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's crazy. Then I also met guys who make well over 6 figures who are with chicks knowing that they're just with them for the money and they're okay with it. And I'm like, where is this? Like, how does this even? I can't comprehend that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, they're loyal to the money. So as long as they have money, then they're staying with them, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. But then on the other hand, if money and material success is one of the things that you're good at, right? It is a part of you. Why not be proud of that and acknowledge that it is one of the things that makes you attractive?
okay.
So if you work really hard, hold on, let me finish that thought. If you work really hard and you make a lot of money and you're able to afford the flashy things, then, why are you saying, I don't want to be with someone who just wants to be with me for my money? Because it is a part of you, right? That you created that. So, when I hear a lot of people say, I want to find someone who loves me for me and not just because I have money. And it's like, well, the you that made that money, right? Those qualities fed into all of that. What's wrong with that?
Because once you get married, then you can get divorced, and the women will just leave you and take.
Are you talking about a prenup?
Yeah. And it's like out of respect, like girls should know, like, hey, I would do that. I would request for one, only
Really?
because yes. And
Wow.
it's like if you don't see my intentions, like it's not the girl can always be like, oh my god, if you don't love me, da da da. Da. But it's like, okay, you got to respect my thought process here. Like you got to understand, like I'm just making sure I'm safe and everyone else is safe, like I'm gonna make sure I buy multiple housing and like investment properties before I get married, because if anything happens, like the marriage rate is like what 54% is like divorce now. So it's like the chances are very high now, you know what I mean? So I don't want to risk that and getting my money stolen just because you're after my money, like some girls, obviously they're gold diggers. You can just tell. There's even gold digging pranks like on YouTube that everyone watches, where like the guy would ask for the girl's number and she's like, "Get away from me, I have a boyfriend." And then he hops in his Lamborghini or his Ferrari and she's like, "Wait, is this your car?" He's like, yeah, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's all over him and all this stuff. And they literally hand these girls golden shovels. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's something that we all got to be, aware of. Like, from a guy's standpoint and from my standpoint, um, if they're just after your money, they're gonna get it. And then
Mm-hmm.
maybe one day, you'll either die mysteriously or you'll get a divorce. So because it happens. I'm not saying it happens all the time, but it's a possibility. The
Huh.
probabilities
All right. Interesting. In Canada, because I put in divorce rate, and in
are.
Canada, in 2020 there were 42,933 divorces granted, and the average age of divorce is 46. Lower rates in um, people over 50, and Canada has the 29th highest divorce rate. Let's see who has the highest. Only 8% of Canadians have prenups.
Mhm.
Interesting. Let's see who's the number one country.
I'm thinking America.
You think it's America? You want to bet that it's America? Okay. Let's see if they're going to let me do this. Let's see. It is. Let's see. Russia. Divorce rates in U.S. and it's not telling me exactly who is. Oh, here it is. Russia came in first. Here it is. One in 154. Chile came in last.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. US ranked third.
Okay.
With
Third.
1 in 189. So you're right, at 52.9%.
52.
Wow, you were close. You were very close. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And UK ranked 18.
Okay, that's not
So when people hear about my divorce and how much I had to pay and how much I lost, which was a lot.
Yeah, I never heard about your divorce, Dr. Marissa.
You didn't?
No.
You haven't talked about that? Oh, wow. So let's just say I did child support, spousal support, and a lump sum, and lost the house, and lost the business. That's a 5-fingered loss. And when the judgment came down from the judge, my lawyer said, "But Your Honor, that's not fair." And the judge looked straight at me and said, "Well, you wanted equal rights."
No way. What?
Yes way. I will never forget that day. Burned into my prenup mind. Should there ever be another? And let's just put that moose on the table. You said just now that if I have properties and I put my name on it, then that's mine. Well, there are some laws that I had to fight to get that put into place around the property I had before I got married. And that was not an easy fight. And I didn't get the property in full. So you may think you have stuff ahead of time, but if you don't have a prenup in place, then anything beyond 10 years of a marriage in California, they are entitled to half. Doesn't matter. Yeah. So if you do have multiple properties, you definitely need a prenup. If you want to be sure that you're not going to lose everything like I did. So I had to start over again. And, and there's some aspects of my life that are still being impacted by what happened. Yeah, it was really a tough time. And just listening to the numbers of how much I would end up having to pay, from, 2 million, down to, 500,000, back up to 4 million, down to, and so that whole thing was just PTSD. So yeah, conference tables are not my friend. They literally knew that the lawyers knew if they wanted me to sign something, they had to have a bottle of Blue Label in the center of the table so that I would sign something, because I couldn't be in my right mind in order to sign it. Yeah. So it was really, really bad. I had to go through forensic accounting, how much I'm worth. I had to go through parental, to justify why I wanted 50-50 custody. So it was really bad. And here's the deal. It is true that you're starting your marriage off on a tenuous slope when you ask for a prenup, because you don't, and this was my excuse. I said, I don't want to go into the marriage thinking that it's going to fail. And, doesn't my partner have the right to the fantasy or the romance or the BS, the belief system that, you're here through thick and thin, and cash or no cash. And then when you leave, because mine was actually not over 10 years. My sentence, I say, was 9.2 years. So, but I was so close to the 10 years that 10-year law of him getting everything, half at least, and then they added more because he was accustomed to that style of living. So, in other words, I got majorly screwed. That's the technical thing. And so when people say, are you going to get married again? HE double hockey stick. No. There's no reason for me to have to dance that dance. And they say, well, you'll get a prenup. And I say, yeah, I'll get a prenup, but there's prenups that don't hold. You've seen people that, have a prenup, and even though they have a prenup, it's challenged, and then they settle, and you still end up losing more than you would have if they followed the prenup. So that's why, I'm a one and done. So I've been married, I've been divorced, I'm happily divorced. I have 2 beautiful children. And so, am I open to companionship? At this point, they would have to do great massages and not want one back. Sort of kidding. Be able to fix my car. And be able to not keep score of who paid for what. So that's what I would love to have someone who, once a month, and most of the month, understand that I love my work and they would love their work. And then one weekend a month, we would have a beautiful romantic getaway and be completely consumed with each other. Now that's so unrealistic and so not possible. That's why I say that's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like once a weekend a month, that doesn't sound like that sounds not that bad, but honestly, that's pretty often if you really think about it. Even if you break down numbers, it's 12 times a year you guys go out and do something spontaneous. But even then, that's still, like, in my eyes, that's still crazy. I have a question for you before we start talking about Golddiggers again. Was the judge a male or a female?
Male.
It was a male.
Yeah.
You think it would have ended differently if it was a female?
Armchair quarterback. I don't know, but he had a female lawyer and I had a male lawyer.
Interesting.
So that was interesting.
That is
yeah. So, he tried to say that I was a bad mom and, that I drank all the time. And so that was the going in of why he wanted to have custody 100% of the time. And the judge, to balance him out, he said, she's never had a DUI, and the fact that you found bottles of beer in the trash after a party does not make for her being an unfit mother. So it was so ugly. It was anybody who can go through a divorce amicably, hats off to you. That would be the best way. But honestly, divorce, wedding, and funerals bring out the worst in people. It's just such an ugly time. And if you're going through a divorce and you're just tearing your hair out, it will pass, and there will be a time when you can feel whole again. But certainly, I have a lot of empathy for people going through it. But when it started not to hurt so much was the moment that I took ownership and said, I picked this guy. Like, there were issues and red flags and everything beforehand that I didn't pay attention to because I hadn't healed myself. So many kids who've had childhood trauma inadvertently attract a mate who will treat you similarly. So just a side note here, I know we'll get back to Golddiggers, but it's related in the sense that somebody asked me, this is when it all clicked into place. Somebody asked me, because I was saying, he's emotionally unavailable. He's emotionally unavailable. He's emotionally unavailable. And she said, when did you discover he was emotionally unavailable? And I said, oh, way before we got married, like way before. And then she said, so who's really emotionally unavailable? Who is more emotionally unavailable is you, because you picked someone who you knew was emotionally available. So it would be safe, because then you could be emotionally unavailable too, right? And then I went, oh, holy craftsmanship. That's the truth. And it hurt. But as soon as I could take ownership of that and quit blaming him, then I began to heal, not to blame myself, not to blame him. We have 2 beautiful children. He's on his own path. I love him. I don't like him, but, I love him because he is the dad to my kids. So, and I wouldn't have had those 2 kids without him. I would have other kids, but not those kids.
Do you still keep in contact with him?
Let's see. For the sake of my children, I'm not going to say what's going on with him right now, because they would be kind of horrified if I said that. So he's not in a good place. Let's just put it that way. Mm. Yeah. All the money's gone.
Dr. Marissa, you're so funny. Oh, man.
So yeah. So I wish him well. I really do. I mean, it's hard on my kids what his decisions have been. So, So anyways, back to gold digging. So you could say that he was a gold digger because the disparity between his education, I found out in Discovery that I had thought he had an AA, and because he went to a state school on his resume, but it turned out that he went to that state school to get his GED. So I didn't know that until the divorce. And and then my fault was embellishing what he was versus what he really was. So I wanted a successful guy. So instead of saying what he actually did, I would say he was in marketing sales for Budweiser, when in actual fact, he was a delivery truck driver for a bottle distributor that sold Anheuser-Busch. So you see how in order to make him not a gold digger, okay, so that, and he was very good looking. Like, I mean, Gregory Peck good looking. And that was why I got into the pickle that I did. I took one look and I went, I want that. And so, yeah. And I got it. Oh boy, did I get it. And then I didn't get it. Right. So, yeah. So now you know about my divorce. The process itself went 7 years, I think. I bifurcated. Yeah. I bifurcated, which is you ask the judge to declare you divorced before the money is settled so that you can either remarry or be said that you are not separated, but actually divorced. So I did that. 2005 was the separation. 2006, I was officially divorced, but the settlement didn't happen until 2013.
Wow.
Very expensive process too. The lawyers got a lot.
Mm.
Lawyers that, if you can, go to a mediator. I went to a United Fathers of America, and after like 3 or 4 sessions, the mediator came to me and said, I think you need a lawyer because he's not going to give you 50% custody. So that's when I had to retain a lawyer.
Oof.
Yeah.
Golddiggers.
Yeah. And so you can say that do I think that he was in it to get half of the money? I don't think so at all. He really wanted to have kids. I really wanted to have kids. We met later in life. Neither one of us had been married. So I don't believe he was a gold digger. Now, if you look at the amount of money that I had to pay out, that is 6-7 figures, then you would say, oh yeah, he's a gold digger. And when I tell the story, you would not believe the number of men who say, do you want to get married?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, ding dong, I lost it all. There's nothing left there, right? My goal is to be a gold digger myself, to balance out the scales.
And not the other way around.
No. This well is dry.
Oh, wow.
This baby factory shut down too. But anyways,
so that's a gold digger is kind of like playing the other end of the game of like a sugar mama or like a sugar daddy, and like, and I say that's acceptable.
Well, is it?
If they both acknowledge it's for the money and not really for like the love, because like if one person's blindsided, then that's wrong. Like one person's like, hey, like I'm really into you, I want to take care of you, but the other person is like kind of stabbing in the back because like they don't want to tell them, but they're like, hey, I'm just here for the money. That's where it's wrong. But if like the sugar daddy and the gold digger, they both realize it and they're both okay with it, then I think that's fine.
It's like elevated prostitution.
Yeah, basically.
Right?
If you want to put it like that, yeah.
Well, that's what it is, isn't it? It's long-term prostitution because you're getting paid for your services. So is it really acceptable?
In the eyes of the public? Probably not.
Or maybe it is. I mean, so that's what makes this such a interesting topic, is because the lines are getting blurred.
Right.
Right.
What's your take on this?
What's
your take on this?
On sugar daddies?
Yeah, and gold diggers.
And gold diggers? I think it is, if I go complete happiness coach, right? And extreme, if it feels good and it's not hurting somebody, then have at it, and it'll work until it doesn't work. And it'll be that chapter of your life and you'll learn something from it. On the other hand, if you, do you really want, see, my real view on this is not definitive. I really think it depends. If you are, I'm gonna like so piss off a lot of people by saying this, but especially the feminists who believe that they can do anything and it is not their job to clean the house and do all those things, and they end up doing it anyways. And then I get the stay-at-home moms. I just insulted someone the other day she said, I have 2 kids and da-da-da. And I said, and what's your work? And she looked at me Like, I just told you that I'm raising 2 children. Why is that enough as work? And I had to apologize. I was going with the, what I do, single mom, work full time, go, have kids, joint custody. That was the arrangement. But it, would I be okay with being a gold digger right now? Would I be okay with meeting someone who made a gazillion dollars? I remember what my grandfather said. He said, it's just as easy or difficult to meet a man who is kind and has money, or is kind and has no money. So pick the one with the money. That was my father's father, my beloved Adia. And he said that, as one of his, leaving me his wisdom kind of thing. Now, he was a playboy. His grandfather had made a ton of money in China. And basically, you can go see their home. My father.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy.
Weird. Did you do that?
I don't think I did, but
Oh, okay. That was funny. Well, I guess that was for my grandfather.
I know,
So
right? Like, you go see his place. Like,
there's a Pei family tourist site in Suzhou called the Lion Forest Garden. So that's Sizzling. So if you want to go see my father's family home, that's it. But anyways, he grew up like a playboy. He had all the money in the world. So that was his perspective. And it is true. Is it that difficult to find a kind man who has money? Why do we have to say you either have to pick a nice guy or a guy with money, right? Isn't there nice guys that have money too? But then again, then we're coming back to, that sounds like a gold digger. Right? You have to have a lot of money in order for me to be attracted to you. Like, that's a gold digger in the very definition of it. And then on the other hand, like I said before, why is it so horrible if someone says, I love you? And part of the reason is because you make a lot of money and I like the qualities that got that money. You're smart, you're, driven, you're ambitious, and I like nice things. What's wrong with that?
Honestly, you're kind of changing my.
I lost him. What did you say?
I said you're changing my perspective this morning.
Oh. Woohoo! I love doing that because it is not as simple as gold diggers are bad and sugar daddies are bad, and it's not the whole thing. It shouldn't be the whole reason why you're being with someone. But if it is a part of the reason, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm definitely not going to pick someone that I have to support. Like, that just doesn't do it for me. I've learned that I have to respect a guy in order to be with them. And if they don't bring in and have the kind of qualities that bring in that kind of money, then, I already felt really slammed, stabbed, strangled by what I had to do. I'm definitely learned my lesson on that one. So, and there's a certain level of, if you are a person who does want someone who has a lot more financial success than you do, you have to be okay with the perception of someone calling you a gold digger. If you have decided that this is important and you want to pick a man who's going to, or a partner who's going to be able to afford all the things that you want, and you are going to be wholehearted in being the stay at home, which I believe the first six years are ultimately the most important, to be there for your child. After that, I think, once they're in school, you can do whatever you want. And I don't think you're going to suffer in your career. I think that's an old BS. So if that is who you are, and that's why you're choosing who you're choosing, then if someone accuses you of being a gold digger, you have to be strong enough to say, You can think that and have a great day.
Yeah.
You have to know inside yourself that this is okay. And then what they think doesn't matter. What you think of me is none of my business. What you think of me is none of my business. It's one of the best books and best guests I've had. Dr. Terry Cole Whitaker wrote that book. And it's so true. Anything, this can be gold digger or not gold digger. If you've decided something that you think is okay, then it doesn't matter if other people approve or disapprove. Did I just have a drop the mic moment with Sam?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so two things, but you can say that with like, cougars, right? And I know that messes with a lot of people's mentality and their mindset because they don't want to feel like a cougar or a baby cradler, right?
I've
Hands up.
said that before.
you know. But again, if you use that technique, it'll follow suit. Another thing, because like like a true gold digger is like attracted to someone's money, but like when someone thinks of a gold digger, like I like how the perception that you made me change in my mind was when you were telling me it's like you got this money because of who you are and your mentality, right? Like the money is the byproduct of how hard you grind and your stoicism and all this good stuff. And like if someone told me, they're like, hey, one of the reasons why I'm attracted to you is because you have money. Like before the show, I would have been upset. I would have been like, wow, that sucks. You know what I mean? Because if I had zero money, you wouldn't like me. But at the same time, now I see the other side. Like what your grandpa said, wisdom. I gotta agree. And a lot of things like I would want to say there's more mean people who are rich than there are nice guys who are rich, right? Because you have to put your foot down and step up to the plate in order to make the money or to make the moves, right? Like if you look at a lot of like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, like Jeff Bezos, all of them, they're not nice guys. You hear stories about how mean they are, but it's because of their mentality and like how confident they are against other people in society that they get what they want. You know what I mean? Nice guys, they kind of they're there for pleasure in a sense. They want to make you feel better. They want to make you feel good. So that's why they're so nice, right? They do things for you, but they don't do things for themselves. And making money is doing stuff for themselves. In a right? Like, I'm not
In a
saying
sense, but let's just balance that out a bit. That there might be nice guys who also make a lot of money that aren't making the news. So the ones that make the news are making the news because they're ash holes, right? So we don't hear about the nice guys. There's a lot of really good actors who make a gazillion dollars and who are nice. Ron Howard, is a great example of that. Or there's people that have been married a long time. I will say this that I don't like is watching people like the ones you've mentioned who were married for 25 years to someone who helped them become who they are, and then they get dumped for a younger version or young hot who they are. So I think that them marrying the younger version and then getting a divorce and getting screwed in that divorce is karma.
right.
So there's a natural comeback with that, literally come back with that balancing act. Now, do I feel like the women that got dropped, the perception is, poor that person, and then they get a huge settlement. The one I think Bezos' wife or whatever that was got like million, however, hundreds of millions of dollars. Does that make up for the fact that they just got dumped? They could, if I were coaching them, I would say, that was a 25-year chapter of your life. And you can spend the rest of your life being bitter about what he did, or you can be grateful that you get a portion with which to do whatever you want. You had the brains and the stamina to help someone make millions in a meaningful way, in a brand. You can do the same thing. And now you have seed money to do whatever you want. So again, the perspective is, how do I feel about this? What decisions have I made about this? And who cares what other people think?
Mm.
That's my final word, because as usual, we're almost out of time.
Always like this, isn't it?
Every single time.
Are your other shows like this?
Huh?
Are your other shows like this, or just time flies?
I mean, time usually flies, but I probably get more a kick out of this one because I can be naughty. And I love being naughty. It's one of my favorite things because I'm all bark and no bite. So
Right.
just in case, yeah, I love. Oh, and then we did get someone ask if we were having a relationship, which I think is super funny.
Really?
Because of our, repartee, and they saw you spanking me on the dance floor and vice versa.
That's so funny.
And I said, you know how young he is? And they said, yeah, he's 23. And I said, that's way too old for me.
Yeah.
And then one of my my bonus sissies goes, that's disgusting. I'm kidding. So wink, wink. Yeah. So I actually had a 19-year-old send me a drink at a bar, and I went over to thank him, and he didn't have a drink. And I said, "You're not drinking?" He goes, "I'm 19. I can order a drink for you, but I can't order a drink."
Wow.
Don't worry. That was dipping way too low. Final word, Sam.
Final words. I think y'all got to pay attention to Dr. Marissa a little more. Open like some people, like there's a difference between like hearing you and like listening to you. And on the show with you, like I'm listening to you because I like to keep my options open. I know there's not like black and white, but like most of my life, my thoughts are black and white. So having the show with you, like we agree and we disagree on some things, and it's nice, So thank you, Dr. Marissa. I think this one really put the moose on the table for me. So
woo-hoo. Wait, I gotta applause that. I love it when I can expand, to include other ways to think. So, Golddigger, the thumbs up, thumbs down. I would say thumbs almost up.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Thumbs almost up. We're like definitely not thumbs down. If you're honest about the similarity between success and gold. Right? It's a similar thing. So, and then 2, don't judge. It's personal, right? Who cares?
Yeah, that's your problem.
Yeah, everybody does not have a right to your opinion. You don't have to weigh in. That's my final word. Thank you so much for tuning in too. We still have some eyeballs that have been here the whole show, and I'm grateful for that. Please do put a message down if you like it. Go and like Dr. Marissa on Facebook, Doc Balance on Instagram, Sam Sorta there. I'm trying to get him to be more active. And then LinkedIn as well. And I'm not on Twitter anymore for reasons that so all of us are here wishing you balance in your life. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. Tomorrow is, let's see, I've got Trace Austin coming, the grandson of the Temptations founder, Otis Williams. So that's tomorrow. Peace in, peace out.